Hey people, welcome back to another episode of The Jagged Edge. This is Ian here along with Chris.
What's up, everybody? You got your Star Wars going? I got my Star Wars going.
Oh yeah. You know, I think it was well worth it as well. We pushed our recording back a day or so for a pretty darn big trailer. We hinted at last week. It's out. It's been in full force. If it's been those of you who've been looking around maybe in YouTube or a few other spots for reviews, you'll see it's everywhere. About every major outlet talking about the Episode 8 trailer, The Last Jedi. Finally getting some footage of not only Luke Skywalker, Ren, some subtle hints at everything going on with the Force, all that good stuff, but plenty to talk about here.
Technically speaking, you are right. There is definitely footage there that we hadn't seen. That is true. So we're going to talk about that. Right now, the Star Wars Celebration is still going on. We are recording this on April 15th. So there's still a day and a half. There's still the rest of the day today and all of tomorrow. So some of the things that people are hoping to hear announced have not happened yet. But a lot of them have, like you said, the trailer for Episode 8. A couple other things as well. We'll get into that. We got a few other things we're going to talk about. This was definitely, well, not a lot of trailers. This was definitely a week 4 trailers. Check that out, Ian. See how I'm segueing? I can do it too. I can do it too.
All right.
Besides the Episode 8 trailer, much anticipated Thor Ragnorak trailer came out in the last week.
Yes.
Yes. Well, and what did you think of this?
Here's the cool part. We talked about this before, saying this was being built as the buddy flick between Hulk and Thor. I had come into that with more of an expectation of, I guess, more Hulk-Thor co-moments. Now we kind of see how it's led to that, and like what we have hints of what brings them together. I'm actually really amped now that they're keeping that idea, but they're blending more of the Surtur storyline as well. And what a way to bring it in. Whoever that was that shattered the Mjolnir. I wasn't familiar if that it actually happened in the comic continuum yet. I sure hadn't seen it happen. I know there was a second Thor at one point, but that was a great draw in. I know I'm very interested, especially where Odin is, especially in the wake of the last Thor movie and Loki taking up the throne. What he does with this situation as well. I'm excited, man. Wasn't exactly what I was thinking it was going to be coming into that trailer, but I'm amped.
Well, it's kind of funny. So if you follow these things, if you follow movies like this and their production and such, I mean, this trailer really wasn't a surprise. At the same time, I think what we saw was all within the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie. A lot of what you saw is not going to be the focus of that movie. Seeing Thor's hammer get crushed like that was definitely shocking. Yeah. I mean, again, if you follow these things, you knew something was going to happen to it, especially because of the production shot that was shown for Infinity War, and we've talked about it, where you see Thor without his hammer.
Right.
So you knew something was going to happen to it. That was shocking, though. You didn't know what. That was pretty surprising. It looks great. There's nothing... There's nothing in it I didn't like. Seeing Jeff Goldblum in there was awesome. I believe he is... He's not the Collector. The Collector's the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's his brother, though. I forget his character's name. Is something like that. But anyways, he's extremely powerful. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. But I don't think we are seeing the main storyline. I think we're seeing just the beginning of it. So there's supposed to be a lot of Thor and Hulk palling around. They don't even touch the whole thing with Odin. That's the whole thing. But overall, it was a lot of fun. Definitely, seeing a lot of World War Hulk moments in there. I hope they expand on that a bit. That was pretty cool to see. I wish I didn't know that was coming. I knew it was coming, and to see it though was pretty cool. But had I not known, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, the whole Gladiator moment, especially the Planet Hulk. I think was it the Planet Hulk get up?
Planet Hulk, I think. Yeah, it's which led from or to World War Hulk, and then there was World Breaker Hulk.
Right. Yeah, I got I'm right.
But yeah, I think you're right. That was from Planet Hulk. They're taking a lot. They're taking a lot of different storylines from a lot of different big series from Thor and Hulk, and they're mashing them together.
yeah.
I hope it all works out. I guess it's a good idea. Kind of tells me that maybe they're seeing the end of the line and on the chances to do a few of these things. But whatever. It looks good. There's decades upon decades of stories in Marvel to tell. So
Oh yeah.
that's fine.
Oh yeah. And I'm expecting this to be one of the parting setups, getting ready for the next Avengers film. At least setting where Thor is going to be, and obviously between the hammer and everything else, looks like a good segue.
Yeah.
Awesome. Speaking of segue, we're right there to another.
Didn't mean to step on your territory.
Yeah, hey, as long as you stay in the boundary of that, you're cool.
All
Cool.
right. All right.
If you press in too far.
Rough cuts from now on. Rest of the show, rough cuts from me.
Thank you. In other Marvel news, we had an announcement as to the actor for Cable in Deadpool 2. That's going to be Josh Brolin. Saying that right? He is also playing Thanos in Infinity War.
Yeah. Well, and he has played Thanos in a lot of previous movies as well. I mean, not that you would ever know, but yeah. So kind of funny. Josh Brolin playing Cable, playing Thanos. We rarely ever see bridges like that when it comes to the actors. I mean, we've seen a couple of them, but I don't think we've ever seen it where they're doing that at the same time.
Right.
Of course, they're both Marvel properties, but one's at Fox and the other one's with Marvel Studios.
Yeah, it was already tenuous enough to get the whole Spider-Man issue worked out. And slowly, there's a lot of things with X-Men, of course, still up in the air. I think it's at a good resting point, obviously.
When is X-Men not up in the air?
It's perpetual at this point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
But
I don't think they'll ever have the sack to connect Legion with whichever movie universe they're going with and try to hitch the wagon on there. I don't think they'll ever do it.
No. I hope not, or at least if you do, pick and define the freaking timeline, please.
Have you seen the videos and the attempts that people have made to actually try to make sense of all of that stuff?
Yeah, I have. I looked at a few.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, anyways, we're getting off the point though.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin, Cable. This came out of nowhere. Last time I think they were talking about Michael Shannon, which I thought was a decent idea. But here, this is definitive. This is the pick. I had to look up what he had done in the past. I did not recognize the name, but then when I saw it, it's like, all right, some of this stuff is good. Some of it's classic. But what did you think of this pick overall?
Well, I mean, especially you talked a little bit about this in your own notes. MIB3. And a Black American Gangster, No Country for Old Men, the Goonies. Solid pick, man.
There better be a joke from Deadpool about Cable being from the Goonies.
Yeah.
There better be. He better be breaking the fourth wall, commenting on that. He better call him Brand. That's all I have to say about it.
Rightfully so. I'm, as far as with the pick, not disappointed at all. In the same hand, not over the moon. I guess part of that's because Cable isn't necessarily a character that I've dedicated myself to ever. But just thinking in the context of other names that were in that pool, this was way early on when this was all first being discussed. I know Ron Perlman was in that pool at one point. Stephen Lang, even Dolph Lundgren threw his hat, and that just made me smile. I can't see Dolph Lundgren in anything without thinking of if he dies, he dies. I just can't get Rocky out.
That's awesome.
That
was a good impression.
But no, I think he's for continuity's sake, great. No complaints about the pick, and of course, you mentioned a little bit of a surprise about the cross continuity, Fox and Marvel.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, with any of these talks, especially with the X-Men properties, I'm concerned just because it's Fox doing it, and They get some shit great, and then they get some stuff that's horrible. Now, Deadpool was great. The
Yeah.
recreation of Colossus was phenomenal. They took a character, Negative Sonic Teenage Warhead, which was nothing like its comic counterpart. But I mean, you're talking barely even a D grade character in that universe. So
Right.
they took a concept and they made it work, and they've been able to do that sometimes in the past. So thumbs up for that. There's been a
Yeah.
couple different variations of Cable. I think the actor can pull off any of them. He's not known for, not from what I can tell, as being any kind of an overly big guy. I mean, obviously, when he was 18 years old or whatever he was playing Brandon the Goonies, he was kind of big then. I can't remember a single time besides 30 some years ago, when he's played a role and I'm like, oh, that guy's huge.
Right. Right.
Because that's one of the first things you see about Cable is like, this is a big motherfucker.
Cable's a tank, and
He's huge, and he's half metal, and what's up with his eye, and the whole thing, and he's scary as hell.
and then he had, for some reason, it's still stuck in my head. Whenever I think of Cable, I think of that old theme from the X-Men animated series, and it wasn't much of a theme, but it's like you knew Cable was in town when it kicked in. It was just like this, like, really light orchestral theme, and it was
Are
like,
you gonna try that theme again?
yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it.
Dude, am I gonna have to plug it in again?
Yeah.
Show how wrong you are.
Dun 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 dun. I'm gonna stop.
That's
So,
even worse than the last time.
hey,
You are talking about the X-Men animated series theme, right?
yes,
Not
not the intro Cable's theme specifically.
Cable. Oh, did he have a specific theme?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was like this short like jingle. It was just like this like really light orchestral theme, and it was just bomb because it was only a couple of instruments and it was only like 12 seconds long, but you knew Cable was there whenever that hit. I loved it.
Maybe I'll plug it in anyways if I can find a clean cut of it.
But oh man, it's
I have no additional worries about this. My concerns for this are already rooted in the facts that Fox has completely just screwed up most of their X-Men movies. The last couple have been good. Well, the last 2 out of 3, let me say that,
yeah.
have been really good. So okay, but I'm not sitting here like that was horrible. No, sure. He's going to be heavily CG. It'll be interesting to see what they do with are they going to give him a beard? Because sometimes Cable has that, not
Right.
often, but sometimes. Are they not? He's usually got longer hair. Cable's usually got pretty short white hair. How buff is he going to get for this? Which is not just for Cable, but generally speaking, for comic book movies, is a norm for them to get pretty tight and pretty buff. So, do I look at pictures of Josh Brolin and say he could do this? Yes.
Yeah. And heck, I mean, my two questions, I think one of which is probably one of the most important here. Is he going to be as awesome and broken as he was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2? If so, I think you'd have a very successful character.
No, I think we'll probably get a glimpse of Cable in a trailer coming up here sooner or later. I just go shoot this damn thing already. It's supposed to be out this year, I think.
Now, here's the thing with Cable, and this is what I remember as well. Where there was Cable, I always remember Bishop being very synonymous with him, or almost being sort of like the Herald in a way. Normally, a lot of arcs that I saw involved Bishop, or Bishop showing up ahead of time, involved something with Cable down the line at some point. Do you know if there's any plans for Bishop?
Well, we saw Bishop in Days of Future Past. I don't know. That's always been kind of weird because they're both from the future, but I think they've distinguished that they're from 2 different timelines, which I don't think was always so clear.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, honestly, whenever I see Last of a Cable, I see Cable in Deadpool.
True. Regardless of if he does actually show up or not, shoot, I'm there to check it out. Now, the thing that I always lose track of is when we talk about villains when it comes to Cable. Now, it always seems like Cable is going to reverse something that's going to become a threat, or something that becomes really awry, in a certain timeline. do we have any more about that? Maybe like I don't know, a future solo Cable appearance, like who he's going to be dealing with, anything like that?
No, they haven't said anything about the villain for Deadpool 2, not that I'm aware. The big talk is what's going to happen after, which is that Deadpool 3, which is not unusual for them to highlight a sequel, or when they greenlight a sequel, they greenlight a trilogy, if I can spit it out. Um, they're saying that now Deadpool 3 is going to actually be X-Force, and they're going to branch off from that.
Okay.
Nothing about a villain.
Okay. And
I
that's
I just want them to be consistent from this point on.
yeah, yeah, same. I think they're pretty freewheeling in what they can do with that. Most, especially when you're talking about that I can remember at least for X-Men timelines. There's a lot of villains that come from or originate from like their current arc. I never really see too many future visitors. I mean, closest thing I could think of was like Apocalypse, but that doesn't count because he was from their timeline still. But I digress.
I think they need to be careful. Obviously, Cable's a time traveler, and there's going to be some jokes about that. But Deadpool's going to crack some jokes about all that stuff. But they have to be careful with that because time traveling villains and heroes and stuff like that is a little hard to swallow to begin with. People enjoy it a lot because of the fantasy that comes with it.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with something as grounded like the first Deadpool movie was, that was a very grounded, down to earth. As it was about mutants, and it was about it was obviously very comical too, but it's very gritty.
Yeah,
I think they can do this right, but they got to be careful. So if they start pulling future and past shit all over the place, I think they might lose the audience a little bit as far as the connection, at least the connection that Deadpool had with the audience in the first one.
For sure, and it kind of comes across as corny if you overuse that. I know.
Right.
The last time I saw something in Comic Continuum that, and it's like at least my fifth time mentioning this in the show at least, was when I read the last Arc of Infinite Crisis for DC. Superboy Prime got thrown into a future where there was a world with a red sun, and through some kind of strange time lapse, he returned in like 5 minutes, and X amount of years had passed, and somehow he'd magically made an anti-red sun armor that he was wearing, and had all this other crazy stuff. It was just, it came across as just, you pulled that out of your rear, clearly. It really, I thought it was kind of hokey, but
why did they call him Superboy Prime?
I think it was in a couple of respects. One was the power level he'd reached at that point. He was no joke in that point in the timeline. It took a lot of the major DC greats ganging up to actually take him down. Also, if I recall, his Krypton was actually superior to our Kal-El's, the one that we know. Take all that together, and through like the level he'd attained and everything else, he kind of dubbed himself as well. He had a bit of an ego complex too. So, but yeah, he was just an extremely corrupted version of a Kryptonian. But,
oh, okay. So he was a bad guy. All right.
Yeah, he was. Okay. He started good. I'm not going to tangent on this too much. He started good, but through circumstances and everything that happened, he took that too far to the point where he became twisted and became obsessed with this image of, I need to be revered as a hero. No one would give him that, and eventually he just completely went the opposite direction. Just started murdering straight out.
Well, there you go.
I recommend it. Infinite Crisis. There's been a couple, but it was the one back from the mid 2000s. I think around 2005. It was a really, really good arc.
I think the new DC comic universe is gearing up to do another one.
This is another thing I always point at. Let's hope X-Men and Deadpool and everything. Let's put X-Men aside. Deadpool and everything doesn't get to this point. One thing that I find really some hilarity about DC is every X amount of years you got to have an Infinite Crisis, a massive culling of all the worlds. Because there's too many worlds. There's too many alternate timelines. There's too many alternate versions of all these characters. So they collapse everything down into one continuum again, and then that'll go on for a number of years, and then it happens again. So I give up.
Yeah, and Marvel kind of did this, not this last summer, but the summer before with Secret Wars, where they all the different multiverses converged with each other, and it was an attempt, mainly because of the main Marvel universe and the Ultimate Universe. It was a way to merge them and take what fans like the most,
Right.
and put them together. But part of it was, there's too many universes out there and blah blah blah. And they're already mucking it all up again. Whatever. It's you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Wait, interesting enough, though, and this is Thor related, is the fact that we've talked about it. Thor in the Marvel universe and the comic universe is not Thor anymore. He's now referred to as Odin's son. Jane Foster's Thor. He no longer feels he's worthy to hold the hammer. So, and that's been going on for a couple of years now. What's kind of funny, though, is from Secret Wars, the Ultimate Thor's hammer is in the main universe now as well.
Huh.
Now, you were a fan of the Ultimate Universe, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. Ultimate Spider-Man was what really introduced me to it. I got into Ultimate X-Men from there. I didn't read all of it, though. I can't.
That was some vicious stuff. I'm learning a little bit more. The Ultimate Universe was vicious.
It was.
Very
it was.
cool.
You had a number of character deaths. There were some things, in fact, that kind of caught you off guard, just how quickly it happened. It was pretty merciless, because I think people got into that thinking, we're just, everyone's doing a little kiddie play, everyone's younger, ha ha ha. It's like, no, it was anything but that.
Yeah, a little reboot. Make him younger. No, I saw a couple storylines where just like, especially one with Magneto, where he just, a lot of deaths, a lot of character deaths. Stuff. I'm like, oh, all right. But then when you kill half your characters and then the sales start to suck, it's like, well, no, you kind of did it to yourself there, now, didn't you? But anyway, so it's interesting because I guess apparently the Thor in the Ultimate Universe was some homeless guy, and a lot of people thought he was crazy. And you're led to believe maybe he is crazy for quite a while, which ultimately ends up that he's not. But the Thor's hammer or Mjolnir in the Ultimate Universe is a little bit different. Whereas in the main universe, if you're not worthy to be Thor, you just can't pick up the hammer. In the Ultimate Universe, if you're not worthy to be Thor and you try to pick up the hammer, it kills you.
Daggum.
Yeah. So, but I'm getting into all that now. What I'm hearing is it's been going on for a few issues now. I think they're up to 7. I'm getting caught up on it. So it's been out so far this year. From what I'm hearing, it's one of the best things that Marvel's putting out is Unworthy Thor, which is the new comic that's out following Odin's son. And what's going on with all that. And so interesting stuff. I wonder how much they're going to go into that into the movies.
Yeah.
If at all. Kind of funny though, considering it obviously looks like something's going to happen to Mjolnir in this next movie. So
very cool.
All right, so we had 2 main topics left here. We're going to talk about Celebration, which we just saw something pop up for that. But Ian, would you like to do Ian's info minute first?
You know it. I was going to say, hey, I mean, you can't go talking about crossing the streams and universal phenomenon stuff without talking about some huge news that just came out this week.
Wait, hold on. Are we doing it? Are we
in the middle? I'm in the middle of my segue.
That's exactly right. So we're doing Ian's info minute. All right. Okay.
Oh man. No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Here we go. So
okay. So you have to imagine a little theme song, just a little 10-second ditty or something. Ian's info minute.
Okay, we got that recorded. Don't be surprised if I end up looping that for a part of like a soundtrack or something.
That's right.
Might be a thing. But no, I was going to say, it's funny, we're talking all this stuff about Marvel universes and everything. Something big happened, some information about our own galaxy this week. It's pretty exciting stuff. This was published National Geographic, a few other spots earlier this week. You might have seen the news, but after 5 nights of observations, astronomers might have finally captured the first ever image of the famous gravitational sinkhole known as a black hole. right at the center of our galaxy. To be honest, the portrait that they're looking for of the region is more of what surrounds it. That's the event horizon. So, of course, that's the boundary beyond nothing, not even light, escapes it. It's the massive amount of data needed to do this was just such a huge undertaking. I think the final run ended. It was 11. I think it was around 11 a.m. on April 11th. Um, Also, after the last bit of data came back, all the observations, um, uh, they had to actually put it on a large group of hard drives because it was so much to maintain. In fact, they were still waiting for one of those groups of hard drives at the northern pole observatories because the weather conditions are still a little tricky to get all of that in. But this is really exciting. This is something scientifically that we've never been able to actually take a snapshot of. But now we're at the point where we got the tech to do it. We've got especially the way we're pulling our telescope arrays together, and hopefully in the future we're going to be able to slingshot maybe some data or info or pictures from the orbital telescopes we're going to have. So this is a pretty big deal. It's going to take just a bit to see all this materialize, to see exactly what the scientific community comes out with it, but I think this is awesome.
Okay, so you just threw a lot at us there.
Yeah.
Did you say that they took a shot of a black hole from the center of the universe? Did I hear that right?
Center right at the heart of our galaxy.
At our galaxy. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say that is one hell of a telescope they've got.
Yeah.
All right. Because I know the technologies we can shoot from pretty far away now, but I didn't think it was quite that far. So, I want to see what a black hole looks like. I mean, sci-fi shows and movies have been showing us their interpretation for decades. And
Yeah.
so I would love to see what a black hole looks like. I think that would be rather anticlimactic, though. I think it's going to look like a black hole.
Yeah.
I don't honestly. I mean, it is nothingness, isn't it? It is void, is it not?
That's the best way you can define it, and why this is so amazing is even with that being said, there's so much data recorded from this that we're not able to transmit it electronically. Again, it wasn't just one observatory or just one effort. We used an entire array and just leveraged most of what we have to do this. So for some specifics, the info that we took was recorded on 1,024 hard drives. The hard drives have to be mailed to the Event Horizon Telescopes Processing Center. That's over at MIT Haystack in the Max Planck Institute.
What's
Germany.
the size of these hard drives?
Ah,
It's a lot of hard drives.
yeah, it is.
Why did they just make one giant drive? Why did they have to string a bunch of them together?
You
don't have the answer.
I don't have the answer for that one, man. That's above my pay grade.
That's what I want to know. Screw this whole space and black hole and all that. I want to know why they had to take so many hard drives and string them together. And that, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I want to see a black hole. That sounds like fun. I want to throw a quarter in it.
You'd be that guy. Oh man, but
I want to throw a flare in it.
Now I'll say this real quick. While I don't know obviously the size of those hard drives, I do know it's just the amount of processing needed to get an accurate read on all this data. Again, if it was pretty amazing, it's they're using what's called a grid computer, sort of like it's like a virtual supercomputer, and it's comprised of 800 CPUs. So this is Goliath.
Yeah. No, cool. So when are we going to hear something? Did they say?
It's really going to depend on when this last set of drives I think is going to get flown. We don't have an exact date yet, but keep an eye on this story. I don't think it's something you're going to see drop out of scientific circulation anytime soon.
All right. Well, there you go, everyone. Ian's info minute there.
Now we just
talking about space.
We just need an exit jingle now. We got the intro. Thank you.
We do need to come up with something though.
Yeah, we'll do at some point. Oh man. But hey, that puts us right in the doorstep of Star Wars Celebration.
There we go. Let's talk about another galaxy. from a long time ago.
And Far, Far Away.
Far,
Man, that was
far
corny.
away.
Love it.
That's all
Love
right.
it,
See,
though.
you gotta leave the corny stuff for me. It's people
Okay.
expect it from me. So,
Okay.
so yeah, we actually we had to take a little break for a few minutes during recording the show, and so while we were doing that, I checked some of the news, and so so Celebration this weekend, and just announced here, I think within the last couple of hours, was the trailer for season 4 of Star Wars Rebels.
Mhm.
Now, Ian is not a connoisseur of Rebels. He enjoys Star Wars, obviously. Rogue One is his favorite movie.
Oh man,
But
yeah, I've seen it. Look, I've seen this so many times. I've never seen it. Isn't that awesome?
yeah, it's like his brain can't even compute what he saw
No,
anymore. He
man.
saw it so much. But so we watched this, we watched you have seen like the whole thing from last season with Twin Sons with Obi-Wan and Maul, and
Right.
I've shown him enough stuff where he's interested, so we watched this. And basically you said that looks awesome. I wish I had some context to that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I thought the trailer for season 4 was a little underwhelming.
Mm.
I think I think it definitely says that this is going to be the last season, which is what they were saying, that Rebels was going to be 4 seasons. They had a plan from start to finish, starting out about 5 years before Episode 4 came out till then, and they're getting really close now. It looks interesting. I mean, they got to end it somehow. I guess I don't know. I was expecting maybe a little more, maybe something a little more definitive. Normally, they do 2 trailers for each season for the
Right.
first half and then the second half. This looked very. It wasn't very specific as to what was going to happen in the first half. Maybe it'll make more sense once we get into it for a couple episodes, but I thought it was a bit vague. So,
Yeah.
I guess. Well, I'm already fairly excited for the show to begin with. I wasn't all that. I wasn't more excited having seen the trailer, and usually that's what trailers are supposed to do,
Get you
to get
pumped.
you more excited for it. Yeah. So, it looked fair enough, though.
Yeah.
I guess I'm excited because again, it looks like we are going to get to the end of this. So, but for someone as yourself, sir, who's never watched a full episode, what did you think?
Yeah. You know.
Did it make you want to say, I got to go watch this right now?
Not quite. Like I said, it's awesome, and I do wish I had context to that, but no, not like as in this instant, like Gantz this instant, or like, well, there's a lot of other things I can reference this instant, but you get the idea. And I think part of that too is just in regard to my distance, from the series. As I said, mainline Star Wars is something I've always followed. The main films when those have come out, with the exception of Rogue One. You don't count; it's not an episode. Shh. But even though it's canon, but no, I mean, with especially some of the things they've set up here, as you pointed out with Darth Maul, Obi-Wan that we watched. There's obviously things that are really important here, and I'm really curious about the gray concept as well, the Gray Jedi. I know this is explored a bit through Ahsoka, and
Ahsoka.
It's Ahsoka. Thank you.
Ahsoka.
And
that's all right. Just being a nerd.
No. Rightfully so. Ahsoka, and hey, correct me if I'm wrong in this one too. There was someone else in that series. Bendu, was it?
Okay, so the Bendu, I was going to say this. I was going to add on to what you're saying because you wouldn't know this not watching the show. But they, especially this last season, they really get into the Gray Jedi quite a bit, and which are called the Bendu, which is the title that they haven't had up until this point. Not that I'm aware of. So they're really starting to build it up, especially, and I'm not going to segue into it, but the episode 8. Teaser trailer that came out this weekend, which we'll get to near the end of this, really seems to be delving into that a bit more as well. But they really do go into that quite a bit in season 3 of Rebels. And something I was wondering while watching that is this are they laying down groundwork for us hardcore fans, so that when we get to episode 8 we're gonna really understand a lot more about what's going on, or are they just kind of expanding on this a little bit? We'll find out in December, but that's something that even for someone who doesn't watch all this stuff, you're catching a bit of that as well, which is probably by design from them. So that's definitely something that they go quite a bit into.
Yeah. I mean, and I think in that regard, it's successful. It's getting the same types of gears turning that some things I'm starting to think about for mainline Star Wars anyway. So, uh, awesome. Um, Clone Wars was another thing I missed. When I think of Rebels for some reason, I always kind of compare those two synonymously, and I get the feeling that if I got into Rebels and finished that, I'd probably go back and watch Clone Wars as well.
Well, you should. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of easy to compare them because they're the only two cartoon series for Star Wars.
Hmm.
I still think that overall Clone Wars was a better product, but I've seen the beginning and the end of Star Wars or of Clone Wars, so I'm
Yeah.
able to compare it a little bit differently. I have not seen the conclusion of Rebels yet, so. Um, but I'm sorry, I'm going to step on your feet again. Talking about cartoons for Star Wars, there was an announcement. This was on the first day. I believe this was Thursday. I think it was.
Mhm.
They announced a new miniseries, new cartoon miniseries for Star Wars, coming out this July called Forces of Destiny. It's going to be on Disney's YouTube channel, so that's new as
Cool.
well. They've not released something like that before. Yeah, 16 episodes. Shorts. All this is canon as well. That was announced that these are canonical stories. They're going to focus on a different character each week. It's also based on female heroines of the Star Wars universe. So we're talking Rey,
Hmm.
Jyn Erso. You know who Jyn Erso is, don't you, Ian?
Genosa?
Jyn Erso,
Jyn Erso. Jyn
lead
Erso.
character for Rogue One, your favorite movie.
This, all right, all right, all right. I haven't seen Rogue One. One of these
Anyways,
days.
but Princess Leia, Ahsoka, others as well. There, 16 episodes of this. They're what I think they said that as well is that if you don't catch them online in the fall, they're going to bunch it into two separate parts and show them on the Disney Channel. A lot of the actors, or I should say actresses, reprising the roles. Daisy Ridley for Rey, Felicity Jones for Jyn. Going to be reprising their roles for those. It looks fun. It's just animated shorts. Looks interesting. If you like to gobble this stuff up, it's going to be in little bite short story sizes for you. Coming in a few months.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And
it looks interesting.
and as we're talking about that, I just brought up Amazon to go ahead and get Blu-ray to Rogue One because we're stopping that conversation like now, and I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna watch it, and that'll be a thing, and we're good.
There, all right, I'll leave it alone. I actually did. I just saw another attempt to jab at you about it because
No, hey, no, look, you should. I mean, rightfully so. It's funny because you were mentioning the digital release, and I think the Blu-ray release was shortly after that. I'm like a week late in that, and I kept saying, hey, when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll pick it up. Things I do that with a lot of movies. I enjoy my theater system anyway, so kick back and watch it. Well, now here's a shot.
there you go. All right, okay, so we're gonna move on. Video tribute to Carrie Fisher. Did you watch this?
Yes,
Very cool.
yes.
It's in the feels.
You know,
Um,
and
yeah.
it's really cool as well that they're respecting. It's other news for that too, that they're respecting her role and everything else Star Wars to the point where they're not gonna do some strange recast or like a Fast and Furious style,
Oh man.
superimpose or anything weird like that.
Yeah.
They're keeping what was cast as it was, and that's good touch.
Well, from what I'm hearing, I think they'll say definitively during this weekend. They might have already. I have not seen it yet, but the word is they're not doing any new reshoots for Episode 8, which means they don't have to do any workarounds, obviously, from the fact that she's passed. And there was something that was said recently that they have enough footage from when she shot Episode 7 and Episode 8 to where they won't need more for Episode 9, which
Hmm.
means they won't have to recast anyone. And they had already said that they weren't going to do a CGI character of her to replace it.
Right.
I just hope they're not they're not cutting down the story here. I'm a fan. Well,
Yeah.
let me rephrase, because fan's the wrong word. I am in the camp of saying you can cast somebody else for this.
Mm.
I'm in that camp. I have been in that camp. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. They've done this a lot in Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
The first voice for Episode 4 for Darth Vader was not James Earl Jones, and obviously after that they put him in that spot, and everybody loved it. He's been Darth Vader ever since for
Right.
all major productions. The original picture of the Emperor was not was not the character Ian McKellen that we've come to love as the Emperor. They literally CGI'd over that.
Yeah.
You know, they did this kind of similarly with Yoda, where the version of Yoda we got from Episode 1 from Phantom Menace was a puppet, and it was horrible.
Mm.
And they literally CGI'd over that. I'm using CGI. I'm saying that a lot more, but my point is that they've gone over it for one reason or another. If they felt they had to, they've gone over and they've filled in something or someone different.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of CGI, there were some fans that had complained about even Episode 7 that Snoke had as much as he did too, and I believe there's talk for Episode 8 of having Snoke represented more as one of those like giant puppets, kind of how like Akbar was. Yeah, kind of bringing more of that, you know, quote unquote realism turn into it. It's interesting how people take that. But
no, Snoke was oh shoot, he was a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
In 7, so that's
right. It's like you would think, right? CGI.
So I don't know. I was fine with it. They're getting so close with this shit.
They are.
God damn it! You know how we were talking about how Roar never attacks me?
Right? Did he
just bit my arm? He just jumped up and grabbed my arm and bit me.
So
he's such an asshole.
Little known fact: Chris's cat is arguably one of the most vicious beings you could meet in this world.
He's a jerk. And now, since I didn't react the way that he wanted, he's taking it out on the furniture. And now he's back over here. All right. Okay. Anyways. So I guess if they don't have to compromise the story, I think at the end of the day, doing what's best for the story is.
Yeah.
I think Carrie Fisher would want that. I don't think she would. I don't think personally she would have cared if they got a different actress or if they used CGI for her.
Right.
I think she'd want the role that Princess Leia, or General Leia in this case now, I think she would want that to go on in a way that they had envisioned.
Yeah, I think Mark Hamill was quoted as saying, you know, Star Wars is now in the hands of the fans that effectively grew up on this. That, you know, this has been prolific enough at this point, and going beyond even George Lucas, you know, after, you know, he sold them. What's happening in Lucasfilm right now, I think they're doing a lot of honor to the tradition. So yeah, it's about the story going forward. It's about, I think, keeping that moving, but keeping something really compelling. Something really important to mention in terms of story as well. I think this goes to the overtones of how dark some people were thinking this next one in Episode 8 might be. I know when we started talking about this as well, you and I were kind of batting around some ideas, you know, from the title, especially the text, you know, how heavy is the story going to get, how dark is it going to get. But I think it's important to go back to looking at who's at the helm and what they've already put out, some of the statements on this. I know, so we had J.J. Abrams directing Episode 7, whereas we have Rian Johnson. I
don't know much about him.
Yeah, and this is interesting. So Rian Johnson, and the only thing that popped up piqued my interest in that name. He did Breaking Bad. So when you think about really dark, depressing, defining moments for a character, or really like a gritty storyline or something, I'd expect this guy to do it. Considering the
how am I not familiar with that? I loved Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's the thing. I figured you were going to pop up with that because you always talked about that and you know, Walking Dead. But yeah, you know,
keep going. I'm looking stuff up.
No, go for it. Yeah, again, the main brains behind Breaking Bad, but he specifically said, actually in multiple interviews, that this movie, Episode 8, is looking to actually have a lighter tone than even Empire Strikes Back, despite, I think, assumptions of this is going to be really dreadful, really, really dark. He did a USA Today interview back in 2017 that helped reaffirm that, kind of reinforce that idea. It really essentially that he wants us to be a fun ride, something that fans can enjoy, but also have plenty of those driving plot points for the Star Wars series. So cool. There's so many series who've kind of that have gone that direction to give a real gritty, dark storyline, and a lot of cases it's worked well. Logan was super gritty and it was awesome. Some of the things they're doing with Deadpool that works really, really well. But I think they're taking a lot of care here with what they do with Star Wars specifically. And in fact, J.J. Abrams was quoted as saying when he looked back over this, he said, "Shoot, I wish I stayed and did the direction we actually took a look at the script and where it was, where it's actually heading." But I think it's good that Star Wars does. This is just me personally, and I can't speak. I haven't seen every bit of canon out there. I know, but as someone that mainly watches mainline Star Wars films, I'm glad that they're keeping some of the lighter overtones because I always felt that's what Star Wars has had. You've had, not just the, Hallmark card moments, but no, there's some things that are just quick humor, things that are upbeat, that keep the pace moving. But you have, very, very serious things when you need them, or the biggest things that actually drive the plot, or that change characters for the worse or for the better. So it's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you on some of this. Which, by the way, he did direct 3 episodes for Breaking Bad. He's not done a lot,
right?
In general, he did Loopers, which was not a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right though. But with some of what you're saying, I have to disagree a little bit because I think if you're Rian Johnson and everyone's saying, hey, everyone's comparing this to Empire Strikes Back, what do you have to say about that? You're going to say one of 2 things. You're going to say it's nothing like that,
right?
Which is basically what he said, or you're going to say this is way better,
right?
Yeah, he's going to play it down. I think there's going to be some similarities. Just you've already got the whole student-teacher relationship going, which was a big part of that with Luke and Yoda. You're going to have that going with Rey and Luke now. I think it is going to be darker like that. I don't think it's going to mimic the storyline as much as like The Force Awakens did with Episode 4.
Right.
But I think there will be appropriate comparisons. This is a dark director, and I think that's going to be an appropriate director for this for Episode 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to play that down.
Yeah,
of course he is. It's like that he's widely accepted as the best Star Wars movie. I would disagree with that. I mean, that being said, I love them all, but most people would agree. The majority would agree that Empire Strikes Back is their favorite. So yeah, you're going to play down that, or you're going to feel so freaking confident about what you've done that you're going to say, I don't think it's similar to it. I think it's better.
And with that, I'm wondering locationally, as far as how Episode 8 is based. I think that's going to play into that a bit too. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but what was Vader's stronghold? Was that on Mustafar?
Funny you asked that though, Ian, because if you watched Rogue One,
I would know. I'd know. I know.
You actually see it.
Sweet.
You actually go there. Oh, jeez. I hope I get this right because there was a lot of contention about that original expanded universe, which is now legend, so not canon. It was not Mustafar. I believe now it is on Mustafar. I believe the story is that it is literally in some of those areas. It's where he got mangled,
right,
or where Padme died or almost died. It is on. I'm 99% sure it is actually on Mustafar now.
And I'm sort of wondering if we're going to be revisiting some of those locations, because one cool part here, I think this really helps set the tone well in 7, was instead of having a stronger I guess CGI direction that you saw in like Phantom Menace and some like for the other like locations like that. We're having a lot more on set shooting
Yeah.
for backgrounds. We're really involved in those now. I'm thinking, in Seven we landed in the jungle areas and everything like that. It's good to have that kind of parody, that kind of play happening in a way that sort of immerses you with wherever you're at. So I think they got a great slate to work with there. Obviously, I, a moment like Luke returning to Tatooine, who knows? I I think a homecoming at this point would be interesting if he chooses to do that, or if he's, I'm not too sure which direction they're going with that. As I was noting, of course, with Mustafar and other places like that. Uh,
Well, a lot of people are speculating that that part of the reason why they made sure that they showed Vader's castle in Rogue One is because to lay some groundwork for seeing it in Episode 8.
yeah. So, and
There are rumors that we will see it. As there's a lot of rumors out there for Episode 8, Force Ghosts and the such. Nothing confirmed as of yet, though.
now other rumors too, besides just location. This goes more into kind of like the whole ethereal idea. We spoke a little bit earlier about the kind of Gray Jedi. And there's some questions about, hey, is Luke leaning more towards that direction now? Is that sort of where his alignment is? Did it change at all? Is he just still really burnt out with the concept of Jedi's because of everything that happened with?
See, I knew your Mr. Segway in here was gonna do this.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
so I'm gonna throw up the spoilers at this point.
Hit
Red
it.
flag, throwing it on the ground. Red flag, spoilers. Just go ahead and skip ahead a couple minutes here if you don't want to hear this, because this is some spoiler stuff. All right, so I don't know. Yeah, skip ahead a few minutes. Okay. So it's come out in the last couple of weeks, some of the details about this, and there's been enough different sources have brought this up to this point to where I think it's credible. A lot of what's going to happen is that this is a lot of backstory stuff. So what happened? Why did Ben turn on Luke? Why did he kill the rest of his Jedi students? Why did he burn down his new Jedi temple and go to the dark side? Why did that all happen?
Right.
So it's more than theory at this point, but a lot of people are saying now, there's sources saying that the reason this happens is that Luke discovers a lie that dates all the way back to the beginning of the Jedi. And Ben finds out about it. And that's what enrages him. And since Snoke is already talking in his ear and has been doing so for years, it's enough to turn him to the dark side and burn everything down to the ground, literally.
Got it.
And from this, from what's happened to his new order, from what happens to Ben Solo turning into Kylo Ren, from what he learns himself from this lie or this whatever it is about the Jedi Order, that's why he goes out seeking the first Jedi Temple. So there's a lot of groundwork being laid for, especially with the name of the title, The Last Jedi.
Right.
There's a lot of groundwork being laid down to Jedi and Sith are going to be gone, and there's going to be something new.
Right.
Well, you've already got something new with the Knights of Ren, but there's going to be something in place of the Jedi. And it seems like Luke and Rey are going to be the characters that are going to start that.
Well, there's always been an air, at least I felt, of reconciliation. Recompense about the Jedi Order, that there never was everything completely in pristine, holy order. That there were no skeletons in the closet, as it were. And the weirdest thing what got me thinking about that was during some of the earlier episodes. I think like in like 5 and 6, especially as Anakin was sort of sidelined for a lot of the time. And there's this idea of, just don't do anything, stay and meditate, stay out of it, go blind, deaf, and dumb, numb yourself to it, don't worry about it, don't think about it. The whole idea is, don't think, don't question, don't. That tends to raise red flags, and even outside of context of Jedi, that just the whole way I think a lot of that was handled always struck me as kind of odd. And I know just even back then I was sort of thinking, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised there's some skeletons in the closet somewhere that someone just doesn't want to talk about, or there's some sort of truth. But I'd argue, to really become a master, to really know truly everything there is to know about both, I think it's healthy that you know that. What you do with it, of course, that's another question entirely. But what is amazing about all this, regardless of orientation or what the decisions that are actually being made by Luke and Ren, is the influence of those who have passed on, who were extremely in tune with the Force and very powerful, such as Yoda. And this is something I was really surprised about. I actually had to go back and listen to this closely to confirm it. But in Episode 7, when Ren first was reaching out to Luke's lightsaber.
You mean Rey?
I'm sorry, Rey. Thank you. When Rey was reaching out to Luke's lightsaber, and she began to just, besides the everything she was seeing that actually happened in front of her, but everything she was hearing, some of those echoes. One of those echoes was Yoda's voice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, there's a line in that.
There's quite a few. So it makes you wonder as well how involved if that's going to be involved in 8 as far as Yoda Kenobi. Perhaps.
A lot of people think they're going to see Yoda. There's a lot of talk about Yoda in Episode 8. Of course, that's something that only a handful of people are going to know for sure because that's completely done by post-production.
Right.
So,
right.
They're not going to know for sure. Yeah. I mean, we could go on forever on this topic. Could. So I'm gonna put it in a bit more context, talking specifically about the teaser trailer that came out.
Yeah.
There's more going on there that talks about that. When it talks about the whole Great Jedi, the Bendu. There's even a couple references to that in that trailer. Very quick ones, nothing definitive, but it's like, hey, that kind of looks like that.
Right.
Where you could lead to that conclusion. Okay, first of all, let me say, overall, the trailer was okay. Now, when we talked the other day about it, I was trying to watch it at my work at a noisy office, and I did my best, and it didn't come out very good. And you had said that there was a lot of subtleties, and I was like, well, okay, well, that would explain why I didn't like it then, because I couldn't catch any subtleties at work. So, so I watched it a couple times since then. It's good. It's good. I like what it's done for a teaser trailer. It's good. I was hoping to get my mind blown, but that's because all the trailers for Episode 7 blew my mind away. But all right, so that's an expectation that they wouldn't have been able to reach, and I caught on to that pretty quickly. So, although that trailer they put out for Episode 7, where there's Han and Chewie at the end, that was phenomenal. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
So, we'll see. I would have liked to have seen. They're kind of pissing me off a little bit at this point, and we've talked about this before. In Episode 7, the context of which you do and do not see Luke makes complete sense. And in fact, for me, and I think for many others, they didn't even miss him, because the story itself was about finding Luke. And the fact that you only got a few seconds of him at the end was okay, because they just took you on a pretty cool ride.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It comes out okay. But, all right, come on. We're here. Show us a freaking picture. Show not just a shadow outline, a silhouette of the character. Come on, put the damn lightsaber in his hand and give us a nugget. Give us a nugget. It has been 30-some years. Give a motherfucker a nugget.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest teases about this.
That's going to be my new saying. Give a motherfucker a nugget.
Give him a nugget.
That's it. Just a nugget.
The biggest thing about this is you get the whole philosophy in a teacup, everything, and Luke might be thinking about the Jedi Order, those questions, the training of things, especially the training. We knew obviously knew that was going to happen, but Luke himself, where's he standing after all this time? And the fact that this episode is being billed as, here it is, the reappearance of Luke Skywalker. Instantly my mind goes to that moment that you showed me from Rogue One, with Vader just storming through that hall.
Yep. He hasn't seen Rogue One. I made sure he saw that, though.
But I did see that moment, and when you talk about bringing a character like Luke Skywalker, picture. I think it's a crazy scene like that, or just even a hint of it, but we didn't get that.
Well, I just come on, come on. Which is ironic because one of the I think the most popular trailer for Episode 7 had Luke talking, and this one has
Right.
Luke talking, narrating more or less. But then in Episode 7, he actually never said anything.
Right.
And I mean, I know we're gonna get all the Luke we want in Episode 8. I know it, and we're probably Episode 9 as well, at least. Especially, I mean, with the unfortunate death of Carrie Fisher and Han Solo dying in the last one, all we've got left of the main three is Luke now, and that was not intended.
No.
So I don't think he's going to go anywhere until at the earliest the end of the end of Episode 9.
Right.
But come on, I think that's what bugged me the most. Like, give a guy just a nugget, just a little nugget, So overall, the trailer was okay. I mean, obviously there was some great visuals, which is pretty much all it was. It's not telling a bit of the story,
Right.
just foreshadowing a lot of stuff, and that's fine. It's a teaser trailer, so that's all it's doing.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren, you could see the scar, but you couldn't really see anything else. Looks like he gave up on the helmet.
Yeah.
I was hoping, if not for anything else, just a little more of Snoke. Snoke.
Right. Right.
Rey's heritage are the big questions. Nothing for Snoke either, but whatever.
Well, you know what? Hey, look at the bright side. It didn't give itself away like the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer did.
Oh, like the freaking Batman v Superman trailer.
Oh, I like that too. Yeah.
Wasn't one of those trailers like basically that whole last part of the
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I remember walking away from one of those like, I don't need to see this movie now. I saw this. I've seen it.
So hey, I'm hoping we're pleasantly surprised, and that they're holding a lot of cards close to the chest.
They are. I think they are. I
Yeah.
think they are. And one thing I do like about some trailers, like I have a theory that trailers should never show anything past the first act of the movie.
Yeah.
I can't stand it when trailers ruin too much. Suicide Squad's another one. Good God! But I'm not trying to poke fun at anyone, but I did just hit DC twice, but that was not intended. But yeah, I can't stand it when trailers give away too much because that's not what they're supposed to do. So in that respect, good job. But you already had my money. You have my money. The question
We're already hooked.
The question isn't do you have my money? The question is how much of my money are you getting?
Right. Right.
How many times am I going to go see this in the theater? So, it looks good and fine. It looks like fun. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more, just a tiny more revealed. They basically left us in the same place. They basically said, we're going to kind of expand the story in this direction, and gave us nothing on that. So,
Time will tell.
yeah. I think we'll get at least 2 more trailers. We'll get the official trailer. I think we'll get another behind the scenes trailers. Those have been my favorites so far. For Episode 7 and for Rogue One, they've been great. I think maybe another one, but yeah, we've got 7 months. Yeah, 7 months to go as of to this day, December 15th. So, there will be a lot more, and so,
Love it.
Yeah. What else did we have for this? We glanced on it, but the Carrie Fisher tribute was great. Also, I had forgotten that Kenny Baker died, and you're not going to get a tribute video for that because that's the guy who played R2-D2. I mean, what's that tribute going to be? And just him, which I don't even think he actually made the sound effects going beep boop bop boop. It's
Right.
but another great character. Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah, that covers. Hey, man, that covers it. In fact, and mind you, good time as well.
Always a good time with me.
As long as you don't, as long as you jazz voice and stay away from some of the segues.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, I'll leave that alone.
I'm not doing that.
But hey, people, if you got any thoughts, comments, anything you want to share, maybe something we missed, or maybe something else you're thinking about the Star Wars trailer or Star Wars celebration here, please. You're welcome to post up, comment here, give us a like or subscribe. Of course, you can email anytime. That's caseonmedia@gmail.com. But till next time, that's going to be it for us. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Give a motherfucker a nugget.